Next, we are going to study about the mechanism of nucleophilic substitution reactions taking place in alkyl halides or haloalkanes. Now, actually there is two types of nucleophilic substitution reactions taking place in alkyl halides. It is not actually the two types of nucleophilic substitution reaction. There are two different types of mechanisms for nucleophilic substitution reactions. That means usually the substitution reactions in alkyl halides can take place either through SN2 mechanism or SN1 mechanism. So they can follow any one of these two mechanisms. So all the nucleophilic substitution reactions in alkyl halides will be taking place either by SN2 or SN1 mechanism. So first we will see what is meant by substitution nucleophilic bimolecular reaction or SN2 mechanism. So what is the expansion of SN2? Substitution nucleophilic bimolecular reaction. So that is, the 2 is representing bimolecular reaction. So what is meant by bimolecular reaction, that we will see later. So in order to study this SN2 mechanism, we will take the very simple example of the reaction between CH3Cl chloromethane on reaction with aqueous KOH or with aqueous NaOH. What happens? This X or Cl, this Cl will be replaced by OH and we are getting the product as CH3OH plus KCl. So here Cl is a weaker nucleophile. It is replaced by a stronger nucleophile, that is OH minus. And such reactions are known as nucleophilic substitution reactions. So this is an example for a nucleophilic substitution reaction. Now, what is the basic reaction happening during this reaction? CH3Cl, which is the nucleophile present in KOH. Yes, it is OH minus. On reaction, Cl minus will be replaced by OH, so we are getting the product as CH3OH, and Cl will be going as Cl minus. So Cl minus is known as the leaving group. So here CH3Cl is known as the substrate or the reactant. So here the reactant molecules will be alkyl halides. On reaction with OH minus is known as the nucleophile, or we can call it as, it is the attacking reagent, and we get CH3OH as the product and Cl minus will be called as the leaving group. Now what is the mechanism of this reaction, or what is the mechanism in SN2? So in order to write the mechanism, first we have to expand the alkyl halides, and when we expand the alkyl halides, we need to expand only the X attached carbon atom. So here the reactant alkyl halide was CH3Cl. So CH bond we have to project. Then the other groups on this carbon atom are 3 hydrogen atoms, and see how they are present. One is on the same plane as that of board, one is away from the board, and one is towards the observer. So the 3 hydrogen atoms, or the 3 hydrogen atoms are present on 3 different planes. Now we know that when we write a mechanism, all the charges we have to write, all the arrows we need to represent, all the electron movements we have to represent using arrows. So here we know that CX bond is polar. Whatever the reactions taking place in alkyl halides, it is due to the polarity of CX bond. And we know that since chlorine is more electronegative or halogen is more electronegative, chlorine gets a partial negative charge and carbon gets a partial positive charge. Now in this reaction, the nucleophile present is OH minus. So in SN2 mechanism, the nucleophile, so here it is OH minus. So the nucleophile will be attacking from the back side of the leaving group. So here in CH3Cl, chlorine will be going as Cl minus. So chlorine will be going with this bond pair of electrons. If chlorine is going with this bond pair means a pair of electrons means it makes negative charge. So chlorine is going with this bond pair of electrons. At the same time, the nucleophile, and here the nucleophile is OH minus. So OH minus will be attacking from the back side of the leaving group. So here Cl minus, chlorine is going with this bond pair of electrons. So Cl will be called as, or Cl minus will be known as the leaving group. So nucleophile will be always attacking from the back side of the leaving group or the rear side of the leaving group. So here the leaving group is Cl minus. Now here first, before we get the product, first we are getting a transition state. A transition state means which is highly unstable. What is the difference between a transition state and intermediate? Intermediate means that we can isolate. But a transition state we cannot isolate, it will be highly unstable. So here in the transition state what we can see is carbon with all the 3 hydrogen atoms in 3 different planes. So here the OH minus is actually attacking from the back side of the leaving group. So in order to make the attack of this OH minus easy, the 3 other groups on here, Cl will be going as Cl minus, but these 3 hydrogen atoms or the other 3 groups will be present on this carbon. So in order to make this attack of nucleophile easy, the 3 other groups on this carbon will rearrange themselves so that the nucleophile can attack on the X-attached carbon atom from the back side easily. So see how the arrangement of 3 atoms, hydrogen atoms in the transition state, they are still in 3 different planes, but they are arranged in such a way that the nucleophile can attack from the back side. So in the transition state, if you look at the transition state, you can see that the CCl bond or the carbon chlorine bond breaking is started, but it is not completed. At the same time, the carbon OH bond or carbon oxygen bond formation, that is also started, but that is also not complete. So how we can say about the transition state is, in the transition state, the bond formation, that is carbon nucleophile bond formation and the CX bond breaking, both are taking place simultaneously. So the bond breaking is not complete, bond formation is also not complete. That is why it is represented using dotted lines. So what we can see in the transition state, usually carbon is having valency 4. So carbon can form only 4 bonds. Carbon can be surrounded by 4 atoms or 4 group of atoms. But here if you look at the transition state, the carbon is simultaneously bonded to 5 atoms. 1 hydrogen, 1 OH, another hydrogen, another chlorine. So what we can say is that here in SN2 mechanism, the transition state is highly crowded. So it is highly unstable. We cannot isolate this transition state. So why it is known as a transition state? Because the bond formation, which bond formation? Carbon nucleophile bond formation and the carbon halogen CX bond breaking, both are taking place simultaneously. And finally what we are getting is the carbon OH bond formation is complete and the hydrogen atoms will be again going back to 3 different planes, and Cl will be completely removed as Cl minus with this a negative charge means a pair of electrons, and Cl minus will be called as leaving group. So this is the mechanism happening in SN2 mechanism. So very important point, when we write a mechanism of nucleophilic substitution reaction in alkyl halide, first we have to expand the X attached carbon atoms, which are the groups on the X attached carbon. So here it is CH3Cl. First we have to project the CX bond, then write the three other groups as three different planes. In SN2, the nucleophile will be attacking from the back side of the leaving group. Which is the leaving group here? Halogen will be going as Cl minus with this bond pair. This arrow is very important. At the same time, this arrow is also very important. So Cl will be going as Cl minus in this direction. At the same time, the OH minus is attacking from its back side. So this is the transition state and this is the product we are getting. Now, when we say about the stereochemistry of this reaction, if the alkyl halide that we are taking, if it is dextrorotatory or small d, how we are representing dextrorotatory? Small d or with a plus sign. So, if we take a dextrorotatory alkyl halide, after the attack of nucleophile from the back side, look at the reactant and the product. Initially, the three hydrogen atoms were on this side, left hand side, and the halogen CX bond was on right hand side. After the attack of the nucleophile from the back side, the molecule is just inverted. The configuration is inverted. Configuration means the arrangement of atoms in 3D or space. So here the configuration is inverted. The three hydrogen atoms now they are on right hand side and the new CH bond is actually on left hand side. The configuration is inverted. So this is what is called as inversion of configuration. So if we take a D or dextroalkyl halide, the product will be L or levorotatory. Either we can draw dextro, either we can use small d sign or plus sign. Levo, either we can use small d or minus sign. So if we take a dextro alkyl halide, the product will be levo, and if we take a levo alkyl halide, the product will be a dextro. Okay, now so this is just like how if there is, when we carry an umbrella, if there is strong wind, if a strong wind comes, how an umbrella is getting inverted, the same way only the molecule, the configuration is inverted. So this is about the mechanism. Remember, there is no intermediate in SN2 mechanism, only a transition state is present, and in the transition state the carbon is simultaneously bonded to 5 atoms, CX bond breaking as well as the carbon nucleophile bond formation, both are taking place simultaneously. And remember, SN2 mechanism, it is taking place in one step. It is SN2 is taking place in one step. So it is a one-step mechanism because the leaving group, the leaving of leaving group and the attack of nucleophile both are taking place simultaneously. So it is a one-step mechanism. Now we will see. So what are the points that we have to remember regarding SN2 mechanism? So in SN2, the attack of nucleophile is from the back side or the rear side of the leaving group, that is X minus. Now there is no intermediate, only a transition state is formed. Now in the transition state, the formation of carbon nucleophile bond and the breaking of CX bond takes place simultaneously. Now the transition state is highly unstable because in this state the carbon atom is simultaneously bonded to 5 atoms. So it is highly crowded, so the stability will be very, very less. So that will immediately decompose to give products. So that is why SN2 mechanism is taking place in one step. So the transition state being highly unstable will immediately decompose to give the product. Now, what about the kinetics or kinetic data regarding SN2 mechanism? Why it is known as SN2? SN2 means it is a bimolecular reaction. What is meant by molecularity or bimolecular? Bimolecular means the molecularity is 2. What is meant by molecularity of a reaction? Molecularity means it is the number of reacting species. It is the number of reacting species in the rate determining step of a chemical reaction. That means if a reaction is taking place in more than one step, the slowest step will be the rate determining step. So, the number of species or the number of reactant species taking part or the number of reactant species present in the rate determining step is known as molecularity. So, here in SN2 the reaction is taking place in one step only. So, whatever is the number of reacting species in SN2, that will be its molecularity. So, what we can say in SN2 the rate of reaction depends on alkyl halides, the concentration of how to read it as the rate is directly proportional to concentration of alkyl halide and concentration of the nucleophile, that is the attacking reagent. So, if we say in terms of the example given, the rate is directly proportional to, in terms of the example how we can say, here the rate is directly proportional to concentration of chloromethane, the alkyl halide, and the nucleophile, that is the attacking reagent, that is OH minus. So, what we can say, so how we can remove the proportionality sign? By putting a constant, and that constant small k is known as rate constant. So, why it is a bimolecular reaction? Because here the rate depends on both the concentration of alkyl halide and nucleophile. So, two species. So, rate depends on the concentration of two reactants. That is why the molecularity is 2, or that is why it is known as a bimolecular reaction. Very important, remember in SN2, rate of reaction depends on both the concentration of alkyl halide and the nucleophile. Now, what is the stereochemistry of SN2? Just now as we said, since the nucleophile is attacking from the back side of the leaving group, there is an inversion of configuration. So, the stereochemistry of the reaction is there is inversion of configuration, and this inversion of configuration is also known as Walden inversion. So, the stereochemistry of SN2 is inversion of configuration. What is meant by inversion of configuration? If we take a dextrorotatory alkyl halide, the product will be levorotatory. If we take a levorotatory alkyl halide, the product will be dextrorotatory. Now, what about the order of reactivity of alkyl halides towards SN2? We know that which are the different types of halides we have: methyl halides, primary halides, secondary halides, tertiary halides. Okay, if we look at the order of reactivity in SN2, the order of reactivity depends on the steric effect on or near to X attached carbon atoms. If you look at the mechanism, that will be clear. This is the mechanism happening in SN2. So, here we know that the nucleophile is attacking from the back side of the leaving group, isn't it? So, if this carbon is surrounded by bulky groups, the attack of nucleophile from the back side will be difficult. In methyl halides, if you look at the structure, in methyl halide, the carbon is surrounded, other than halogen, the three other atoms are small hydrogen atoms. So, the attack of nucleophile from the back side is very easy. So, if the carbon is surrounded by, if the X attached carbon is surrounded by smaller atoms or smaller groups, there will be no steric effect, or the steric effect will be less. If the steric effect is less, the attack of nucleophile will be very easy. So, which halides will be more easily undergoing SN2 reaction? Methyl halides. The reason is carbon will be surrounded by smaller hydrogen atoms. So, no steric effect on the X attached carbon. Attack of nucleophile is very, very easy. So, the order of reactivity of halides towards SN2 is methyl halides are more reactive, then comes primary, then comes secondary, and last comes tertiary. So, why tertiary halides are least reactive towards SN2? I will give you one example. A very important example for a tertiary halide is CH3 thrice tertiary butyl bromide. It is an example for a tertiary halide. So, if this tertiary butyl bromide is undergoing SN2, how it will be? As I told you, in order to write the mechanism, we need to expand the X attached carbon atom only. So, here the X is bromine. So, bromine attached carbon is this. So, we need to expand only that carbon. So, first we have to draw CX bond. Which are the other groups on this carbon? Yes, one is CH3, the other group is also CH3, and the other group is also CH3. So, look at this X attached carbon. It is surrounded by 3 bulky groups. Then what about the attack of a nucleophile? Any nucleophile, I am writing generally. If any nucleophile is coming and attacking from the back side, what happens? This bulky methyl group will not allow this nucleophile. It will produce steric hindrance for the attack from the back side. This bulky group will not allow this nucleophile to attack on this X attached carbon easily. So, that is why the tertiary halides are least reactive towards SN2 mechanism. So, if the carbon is surrounded by smaller atoms, then the attack will be easy in SN2. That is why methyl halides are least reactive towards SN2. So, very important point, in SN2, the order of reactivity depends on steric effect. The steric effect on which carbon? X attached carbon, because on X attached carbon, the nucleophile is attacking, and from this X attached carbon, X is going as X minus. So, remember, methyl halides are more reactive, the reason is clear to you, and tertiary halides are least reactive. Now, there is one question, methyl halides are more reactive towards SN2. Why? Now, the answer is clear to you. In SN2, we know that the order of reactivity depends on steric effect on or near to X attached carbon. So, in methyl halides, the carbon is surrounded by small hydrogen atoms. And so, the attack of nucleophile is very easy. From which side? From back side. Similarly, another question is, tertiary halides are least reactive towards SN2. Why? We have to write the same point once again, because in SN2, order of reactivity depends on the steric effect on or near to X attached carbon. So, in tertiary halides, the carbon will be, X attached carbon will be surrounded by bulky groups. For example, tertiary butyl bromide. So, the attack of nucleophile will be very difficult from the back side. Now, there is one more question. If we compare the order of reactivity of halides towards SN2, order of reactivity of X towards SN2, which halides are more reactive? It is alkyl iodides are more reactive than alkyl bromides, then alkyl chlorides, then alkyl fluorides. So, the most reactive halide is alkyl iodides. The reason is, so the question is, So this is very important. The order of reactivity of halogen towards SN2. Alkyl iodides are more reactive. That is our next question. Alkyl iodides can undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction faster than chlorides and bromides. Why? The reason is, we know that in alkyl iodide, which halogen bond is present? Ci bond is present, isn't it? Now we know that down the group, among halogen, down the group atomic size is increasing. So among fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine, iodine is having the largest atomic size. Larger the size, weaker the bond strength. So carbon iodine bond is the weakest bond. So due to the answer is, due to larger size of iodine, Ci bond is weaker than CBr, CCl and CF. So I minus, the very important value point, if the alkyl halide is an iodide, which will be the leaving group I minus, isn't it? So I minus is a better leaving group than F minus, Cl minus, Br minus. Okay, so always remember X minus is the leaving group always, and always the substrate will be an alkyl halide. So very important question, why iodides are more reactive. So this is about the SN2 mechanism.